Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Ball State Esports. I'm going to get out of the way early this time because I forgot last stream. I'm Wyatt, a.k.a. Libby Baby.
And I am Zane, a.k.a. Pokey Penguin.
Yes, we're not going to wait till like 5 minutes into the stream to introduce ourselves this time because I forgot. But today is, what is it? NACE. NACE quarterfinals. NACE quarterfinals, varsity premiere, semifinals, finals against Akron, our biggest rival. So this is BSU v Akron, probably going to be one of the best matches we've watched all year on stream. And if we win this, we advance to the finals, which will be against St. Clair. We got that confirmed just before the stream. So I guess I can talk a little bit about the Rocket League teams and their seasons. I know you have actually never casted Rocket League.
I've never casted Rocket League before. Been here, this is my third year casting, and I've only casted Valorant and Overwatch. Somehow, Rocket League has always just escaped my grasp. You know, it's always just been usually in that Valorant season, so I've always been busy with that. But now I finally get the chance to cast some Rocket League, and I am excited.
Yeah, that does surprise me. I feel like everyone here has at least casted Rocket League once. Like that I can think of, like almost all of our casters, even if they don't usually cast the game, they usually at least end up on one Rocket League stream somehow. But it is first time for everything, and you picked a good first match to cast, Ball State versus Akron, which was actually my first match as well.
Oh, wow.
My first match was actually Ball State v Akron. So I guess I can say, so this is NACE. Admittedly, I don't know as much about NACE, but NACE does run ESC, and I can tell you some stuff about that. So we are currently 9-1 in ESC, which the one game we lost was actually to this Akron team, so hoping to get a little bit of revenge there.
For sure.
We are going to be in ESC playoffs soon. That's like a LAN. It's going to be at Miami, Ohio, which that's kind of like how they do ESC playoffs. It's just kind of like one day thing. CRL, that was like a big thing this year. I believe we are no longer in CRL. We were eliminated, but we did finish top 6, which is one of our best outings, I think. I don't think it is our best ever outing, but it is one of our best outings. It is a pretty good year for us. I believe the top 4 remaining are St. Clair, Winthrop. I don't remember. I know it's St. Clair, Winthrop, Northwood, and one other school. This was what me and Bryce talked about. We couldn't remember the last school. I think it's like West Virginia or something like that.
Just West Virginia, the state.
Yeah, I don't know. But I do know that St. Clair is one of the schools and Winthrop. Oh, Concord. It is Concord. Okay, I was entirely wrong. But yeah, and then I can say some stuff about the black roster. So the black roster, you watched them play last night. They won against EPCU, I believe was the name of the school. Very long name. They won 3-1 in the grand finals for NACE. So that was their NACE season done, I think. And they also finished runner-up in CCS against Akron's secondary roster, which was our first year in the finals for that conference. And our black roster also had a pretty good year in CRL as well, I would say. They did not qualify for like the split 1 top 8 stuff. So, you know, they weren't with those like really like some of the really big schools like St. Clair and Northwood and our main roster. But for a secondary roster, they had a very good outing. You know, they finished second in a lot of their brackets. I think they won some of their brackets. They had a really good year in CRL for a very young team, because that's what they are. They're a very young team.
Yeah, definitely great for such a young team, and like as you mentioned, the secondary roster.
Yeah, I know some of them are freshmen. Like they are a very young team. And speaking of the rosters, I guess we can get into the rosters for tonight. I believe we'll be starting with Akron's roster. So we have Patty RL, Shocks, Malio the Gamer, Bullseye, and 5UP. I know I recognize 5UP, and I think I recognize Bullseye as well, coached by Yak. So yeah, I should be more familiar with these Akron players than we are. These are like our #1 rivals in ESC. It's 4 games like Rocket League and Valorant. I know that they are our big rivals. Overwatch and what's the other game? League of Legends. That's what we'll play. Not as much. I actually don't know who our rivals are in that right now because NEU is no longer in ESC. So I don't know who our #1 rivals in those games are currently. Actually, I should know.
Yeah,
I should know Overwatch.
It's a little tough because especially with Overwatch 2, like right now, I feel like Ball State has been pretty dominant in Overwatch.
They have just been like,
I believe they had a perfect season
I think they did.
just recently. So part of the conversation of like rivalries for Overwatch, I feel like is hard for that
Yeah.
because of how good they are.
Yeah,
And
with NAU being gone, it's like they don't really have a rival
Yeah.
right now.
mhm.
I think pretty sure Bowling Green's pretty good. But anyway, Rocket League. We'll look at our team roster as
Mhm.
well, which will be the three that you know very well: Ga, Oath, and Wova. Wova, Ga, Oath, coached by BK, the assistant esports director at Ball State University, also the Rocket League coach. So I know that they are all in-house tonight. BK was here earlier. Wished them all some good luck. You know, this is a pretty big match for them. You know, a rivalry game. A team that we see a lot there are the players Wova in the top left, Ga in the top right, and then Oath on the bottom there. That has been our primary Rocket League roster for, I believe, 2 to 3 years now. It's actually Wova's last year with us as well. So
Unfortunately, yes.
RIP to Wova. We'll miss you. when you're gone.
Yes, we are gonna have to put him down after this, like a racehorse.
Yes, I know. That is actually my PUBG Mobile teammate for the tournament that we're doing on Friday. So yeah, that is right. I am going to be teaming with Wova himself in PUBG Mobile. But let's see how he can do in Rocket League tonight. I guess this one is really hard. It's actually probably the hardest prediction because, you know, CRL, I know the teams, and of course I know these teams very well, but with these guys, with these two teams, it's been the entire story is that they can always go either way. I mean, last year we swept Akron in the regular season and then they beat us in the finals. This year they did beat us in the regular season, but we also did place higher than them in CRL. So it doesn't really make any sense, but I always have confidence in my birds, so I'm going to say like a 3-2 because I'm going to be realistic. That I think this could be like a 3-2 Game 5 situation.
Yeah, that is true. And going into like my predictions, I feel like I have the opposite problem that you have with your predictions, which is the fact that I know almost nothing about not only our Rocket League team, but next to nothing about the other teams as well. But as you mentioned, I do know a lot about the rivalry between Ball State and Akron. I do know that our one loss is to Akron so far. But as you mentioned earlier, I also do remember last year hearing about how we'd beaten them in the regular season only to lose to them in the finals. And I think, man, it's tough. I think I'm gonna agree with you. I think it's gonna be about 3-2. I think we're gonna see that Game 5 for sure. And I just have to give it to Ball State's favor because Birds are on top.
Of course, that is just, we have to predict the Ball State win. I will say that a Ball State loss, I mean, I would say that it is possible, of course. Like Akron is just, we don't really know. This is a very good team, and they've beat us before. They beat us this year. They beat, so this is a very good team. We can actually look at the bracket for NACE. You can kind of see the paths as to how these teams got here. I know that Akron has had some pretty tough competition. They took out Winthrop, I believe, to get to the spot currently. Winthrop, of course, like I said earlier, a top 4 CRL team. They literally have Garrett G on their team, which...
Not Garrett G.
Garrett G, yeah, that is his gamer tag. And if you don't know who Garrett G is, not only is he an NRG co-owner, he also is an RLCS world champion. So one of the greatest of all time, and he is on their Rocket League team. And he's, getting paid to go to school for his amazing ability. So GG Garrett G. I mean, literally an NRG co-owner.
That's his initials, GG.
You're right, yeah, GG. But Akron did take them down to, I think it was to make it to semifinals. And I know Ball State beat, I think it was Baylor, which we've had some history with this year. They were the ones who took us out of our CRL bracket and made us had to go through the grueling alternate qualification process to get into the top 8, which we then ended up placing higher than them. Make it make sense, I don't know. I do know that there's actually slightly less familiar schools that I don't know as much about in this bracket. I know a lot about the CRL schools, and like the schools that are in our conference specifically, but there's some schools here that I don't know who they are.
Yeah, but speaking of the schools, I did hear we got a little technical difficulties, so we can see that bracket get thrown up right now. So we can talk about the schools that Ball State have already taken down, and so have Akron. And if you look at the scores, one thing I'm immediately noticing is how similar they are. Both Akron and Ball State are winning almost every single game with a 3-0.
Yeah.
Which is just crazy to see, especially as you're getting closer and closer to the finals.
Yeah, I will say Cumberland, I do know that school. They're also a CRL. I believe they were in the top 8. We 3-1 them. And we did 3-0 Baylor, which is pretty shocking. It's a good team. Akron had to face LSU. We saw them in CRL. And Winthrop, of course, that Akron Winthrop 3-2 there. So very much a tough bracket for both teams, I would say, to get into this semifinals. And now, you know, this is like eliminating, like, one really good team is going to be eliminated today, and then the other one's going to face St. Clair. So, like, that is kind of exciting when you see it's like these two really, it's kind of like in football, when, like, the best team in the NFC, the two best teams in the NFC and the two best teams in the AFC have to fight to make it to the Super Bowl. It's like one team, like, those could be the two best teams in the NFL. That is kind of a similar thing here. It's like these could be two of the best teams in the bracket that are fighting in the semifinals, and one of them is going to be guaranteed out of the bracket before the finals. So something like that.
Yeah, really, they are going to be fighting just to get us to this one spot to the finals, which you've mentioned St. Clair. Before the stream, you were talking to me a little bit about St. Clair, since, as I mentioned earlier, if you hadn't noticed, I know nothing about Rocket League. And you said, I believe, they were number 2 in the country?
They are the reigning CRL champions. So technically they're number 1. But now they are in the top 4 for CRL. I don't know if CRL has happened yet where it's been decided who's going to be into the finals. I'm pretty sure Northwood is like the unanimous number 1. And then St. Clair is top 4. I think number 2. So, yeah, that is a big... we have played St. Clair before in CRL last year. We did lose, but you never know. I mean, we could very well win.
It really is just like, it's going to be not only a huge game physically for playing the actual game of Rocket League mentally, because not only are the players going to have to mentally prepare not only to fight this rivalry that has been happening for years, but they're also going to have to mentally prepare. If we do win this rivalry, if we somehow make it to the finals, we're going to have to face St. Clair, which is going to be Canadians. You know how they are about Rocket League.
Yeah, you know how much Canadians like their Rocket League. If you don't know, St. Clair's a Canadian college. The game, though, no more about St. Clair. It is about Ball State and Akron right now.
St. Clair, get out of here.
Get out of here. We'll see you later after we hopefully beat this Akron team, and we are going to be getting into game very soon. I'm glad that we actually do get to watch a Ball State Akron game on stream this year. We could not watch their ESC match due to complications with scheduling at CRL and everything like this. We get to watch them play in NACE. I'm excited. This is always a good game of Rocket League like it was last year. I know last year Ball State was down in the first game. They brought it back to overtime, won in overtime, and then swept them the rest of the game.
Yeah, that's one thing I'm excited to see actually in action in a real-life game in real time, is how this Rocket League team is going to be able to work together and be as dominant as, all those stats we've just shown you are. Especially, we keep mentioning is Akron's going to be this really tough opponent for them. And I'm just I'm expecting just like an explosive start to this.
These could go either way, where teams are just trading off goals, or it's a defensive battle and they win 1-0. That is sometimes we're hoping to get more of these. Is basically what we're hoping for.
Yeah. So if you have not noticed, we
have our
major trophies.
Yeah, we have
up here.
This one is ECAC, and that's Battle for Indiana. So
I feel like whenever we mention the trophies, you know the movie Surf's Up? The scene where he's like, these are my ladies.
My ladies. I love that movie.
Oh, man. Surf's
Cody's me, bro. Cody's me.
Just let me be me.
Just let me be me.
Oh, man. I love that movie.
It's a good movie.
You know, they need to bring back animated Penguin movies.
They do.
Whatever
They used to be everywhere.
There's Surf's Up, Happy Feet.
Penguins of Madagascar.
Penguins of Madagascar.
Unironically, one of my favorite movies. I think that movie's so funny. I was told we were almost going to get a game, but as you can see, there's no Rocket League. So now we're talking about animated penguins. Okay, now we're about to go into game. No more animated penguins. Now it's time for car soccer. It's kickoff. Ball State v. Akron. This is a MAC rivalry for the ages. On Akron's side early here. Wova's going to have it in the air. See what he can do with it. You can see him there in the bottom left. Patty is going to take it away. Back over to Ball State side, dancing with the ball, seeing if he can get Akron on the board early. But a nice save from Oath there to keep it out of Ball State's net. It's going to go back over to Akron's side. Oath going to have control of the ball. Going to have boost. 5-up is going to take it away. They've played against this 5-up player a lot in their careers, as they have Bullseye as well. I believe Patty might be a newer player on this Akron team. Bullseye looking for an early opportunity to score, but he's not going to get it. It's going to be taken away, and now Guh has possession of the ball.
Guh has possession of the ball. 5-up going to immediately kind of go and try and retake possession, which he seems to be able to do. Oath now gets a nice little hit on to the ball there. Going near the goal, but just going to be slightly off. Now, ball just in center. Seems like they're all kind of dogpiling on there. Going to get hit towards Ball State's side, but Patty, unfortunately, gets the ball bounced away from Ball State's goal. Oath going to send it a little bit farther back towards Akron's side. Wova going in for a shot, but blocked.
Very nice save by 5-up there. Now still on Akron's side. Oath in the midfield looking to keep it there. Running low on boost, though, as Patty takes it away, and Guh gets a nice demo, putting Ball State into a bit of a power play situation here. Oath going to take it off of Wova's head, looking to maybe get it into that Akron goal. It is going to be deflected by one of the Akron cars. Patty's going to meet it up in the air, using his boost to try to keep control of the ball. 5-up is going to take it away, going to try to get a nice clear onto Ball State's side. Guh's going to send it down to his teammate, but just not the right angle. He's going to be running out of boost now. Bullseye's going to have it in the corner. Going to maybe try to set something up. Going to try to get a goal here early on. 2 minutes to pass, still no goal. He's going to pass it over to 5-up, but he just doesn't have the angle. It's not going to go into that Ball State net. Oath going to challenge Patty for the ball now. Guh going to take it away. Gets it back onto Akron's side, but Bullseye gets a nice clear into the Ball State corner.
Yeah, it seems like 5-up going for a shot there, but going to be blocked by someone from Ball State. Ball gets shot up into the air. A shot from Bullseye, and he does make it, getting a first point for Akron there.
Yeah, if we just want to watch this goal back, I just feel like that was savable, but unfortunately it just kind of bounced off the top there at such an angle that it was a little difficult for Ball State to save. So Akron, after nearly about 2 minutes of no scoring, it does go into their advantage late, but it is on their side early. Ball State looking to tie the score early on, but Guh not able to get it. Bullseye with a nice save. Looking at the stats now, you can see kind of fairly equal besides that one goal from Akron. And now a nice demo from Wova there to stop Akron's momentum. Guh going to try and get a nice clear back onto Akron's side. Oath going to meet it in the air. Going to maybe send it over to Wova. It's going to go in front of their net. Guh's going to do a good job to get it into the midfield. 5-up has it in the air now, looking to extend this Akron lead. Going to maybe set it up for Patty, but it is going to be taken away by Wova as he's going to try to get it back over to the Akron side, but Bullseye stops it.
Yeah, Akron having amazing defense so far into trying to get this second point for their team, but just is able to get the ball over to Ball State's side of the court or the field, but just unable to fully get that score or fully score. But Ball State doing well to defend. Gets a nice little shot over there to the opposite side of the field. Gonna just be juggled a bit by Patty, who shot on from Ball State, and Oath gets a nice score right there. I believe just out of nowhere, just seemed a nice little bump, just taking just the ball away from Akron, but ended up tying up the match for them.
Yeah, Akron just kind of overcommit there, sort of left their goal wide open, and honestly, Oath kind of stole it from Wova there. That was a pretty nice redirect, and Oath just kind of tapped it in the end. So now we do have a tied game with a minute 30 left on the clock. It's going back over to Akron's side. Another nice redirect from Ball State, but 5 up there to stop it. Did end up hitting that top crossbar. Wova going to keep it on Akron's side, going to use his boost, going to try and maybe get Ball State a little bit of a lead here. A minute left on the clock now. Let's see what Ball State can do as they keep it on Akron's side. Officially 1 minute remaining. Wova going to try and challenge, but Patty is just going to take it away on the Ball State side now.
Yeah, Ball State seemed to really be on attack mode there, but just was unfortunately unable to get a point on the board. Now we're kind of returning back to that I keep wanting to say midfield gameplay. Having that ball in the air, wanting to juggle it. I believe these teams, as the clock is striking down, are going to be more inclined to keep that ball in the air in case that time does run out. But so far, just seems like this ball just keeps getting knocked back and forth, back and forth. It's on Akron's side right now, but Patty seems to be going to send it all the way up to Ball State's side, unless Wova can do something about it right here, which he does. Passes it to Oath, who passes it to Guh. 10 seconds on the clock.
Can Ball State find that opportunity? Surely if they score here, it will be the game-ending goal. It's still on Akron's side. 1 second left now. Are we going to see overtime in game 1? The ball is going to touch the ground. And who's surprised? We have overtime in game 1 here. Let's see. Next goal does win. It's going to go on Akron's side. That's a nice clear from Oath, but Patty is going to be there with the save. Let's see if Ball State can sort of keep up that momentum. Guh's going to be there in midfield to keep it on Akron's side. Gonna maybe try and contest it with 5 up is Oath, I believe. Wova gonna have to be there on some defense with Guh. Gets a nice clear on the Akron side. Bullseye gonna take it in the air. Patty helps him out. Akron's got it on Ball State's side now. Ball State gonna need to play some defense. Oath's gonna have the ball. He's gonna get a nice clear over to Akron's side. Bullseye gonna ground it, gonna send it over to Patty. Akron looking to get some momentum. See if they can score.
Nice save by Oath there. Still Akron just taking shot after shot onto Ball State's goal, but unable to get anything. Guh sends the ball flying in Akron's direction. Nice layup there, but going to be blocked.
That's a late block there. Now it's on Ball State's side. Ball State's going to want to get the ball away. Gets a nice clear, but 5 up is going to be there and waiting. Guh's going to try to meet it midfield and contest the ball. He's just going to ground it. They're going to need to be there on defense. Wova gets there just in time. Now 5 is going to try to set something else up for his teammates, but nothing going to come of it this time. Patty's going to send it over into the corner, but it is going to be intercepted by Oath. Now a minute into overtime. I fear this one could take a while. Guh going to try and send it over to Akron's side. Patty's going to contest. Oath's going to have it now. Is the goal open? Bullseye's going to be there on the save.
Yeah, 5 up just keeping the ball to himself a little bit. Going to pass it between the rest of Akron's players. A demolition there. I believe Patty cons the demolition. But the ball is on Akron's side, just barely tapping the ball before Wova can take his shot there. Ball State going to quickly try and get the ball back to Akron's side, but they take one shot. Oath goes over the defense, and they don't make a, allowing Akron to take this first game with almost 2 minutes into overtime.
Yeah, it is just such a nice fake from 5 up there to get game 1, and that is such an unfortunate way to lose. You know, it is such a close game, and in the best-of-5 situation, like every game really does matter. And that was a really close one, as you could tell, and Akron just kind of scoring right when it mattered there at the very end of that overtime. So Ball State gonna have to look for a way to respond in game 2. As we are looking at replay. Let's see here. This is going to be that first Akron goal, I believe. 5 up, going to send it back midfield. Patty going to watch it play. There we go.
Yeah, just a nice little layup shot right there. Just kind of flies over everyone, but not high enough where they can really reach that ball by driving up the side, as you see them do all the time. Just goes straight into there. Great first goal from Akron, which we did meet with our own goal, just unfortunately wasn't able to clutch it out in overtime. But there still are more games to play. We're getting into the second game right now. Ball goes straight for Ball State side, but Wova going to tip it up, going for a early shot on Akron, but it's going to be blocked as Bullseye brings it over to Ball State side, but going to be defended by Oath.
Is on Ball State's side still. Gonna maybe try and get it over to Akron's side. Well, we're gonna have to be there on some defense. Bullseye gonna maybe try to set it up for Patty, but he just doesn't get the angle that he needs. Now 5UP has it. Gonna see if he can maybe get a charge. Patty gonna keep up this offensive pressure that Akron is putting on. Great saves from Ball State, playing great defense right now. Wova's gonna meet at midfield, see if he can maybe get Ball State on the board early here, but it's just going to go back towards Ball State's side. Wova's going to meet it in the midfield. Gug gonna maybe try and follow it up, gets a nice fake, and Gug gets Ball State on the board early.
Such an amazing response from Ball State after seeing Akron just be so dominant in the opening of the second game right here, just trying to take shot after shot after shot, none of them going in, and Gug with that nice fake right there is able to score the first point of game 2, getting Ball State to an early lead. And Oath going for a second point right there, but going to be saved by Bullseye. Wova there to meet it and gets it! Immediately, game 2 looking a lot better for Ball State. Not even a minute in, and 2-0 on the board.
Absolutely kind of like polar opposite of what we saw last time. Last time we didn't see a single goal for about 2 minutes, and now we're a minute in and we are already up 2-0. So let's see if the Cardinals can continue that great kickoff for Ball State. That Akron goal is wide open, but Patty is going to get there on some defense. And a nice redirect from Oath! Puts Ball State up 3-0 in game 2.
You know, they just needed that first game to warm up, I think.
Yeah,
I think
the warm-up game, I guess.
Somehow, some way, you know, it's just so fun seeing this, such a turnaround from game 1 and seeing these 3-0 right off the bat right here, and then just seeing none of the Ball State players react in the cams.
Yep, that is kind of how we typically see it. You don't always see them have the, like, I like to talk about, you don't really see Guz's face change from this expression much in the games. So now on Akron's side, but 5UP is going to try to take it over there. Wova is going to stop in midfield, but Bullseye is going to follow it up, going to maybe try and get Akron on the board here. Kind of missed what could have been a scoring opportunity. Now the goal is wide open. Akron overcommitting like crazy.
Akron, yeah, I think just getting a little too ahead of themselves there. Saw that they were down 3 points and said we need to make something happen right here, right now. But when you do that and that doesn't work, then what you get is 4-0. And now Ball State sitting comfortably in this position. Just need to defend really well for 3 minutes, and they can win this. 5UP going straight for a goal there onto Ball State. Wova going to be there for the defense. And Oath and going to be taking it to Akron's goal. And there's no one there, but 5UP gets there just in time.
Yeah, Akron kind of struggling to keep people on goal at all times. They're going to try to maybe send it back over to Ball State side. A nice clear from Gug, going to be met by 5UP. See if he can just get it back on Ball State side, sort of relieve some of this offensive pressure. Ball State's just been on fire. Bullseye going to maybe try and get Akron on the board. Got almost own goals. He gets a nice angle. 5UP going to try and keep up this pressure. Going to try to get something for Akron. We're going to be there on defense, but Bullseye is going to follow it up. That was almost inevitable there. Akron is on the board.
Yeah, nice defense here from Ball State until, yeah, Bullseye just gets that right position. Oath tries to kind of save it there, just was unable to. But, I mean, if I'm Ball State, I'm not too worried about this one goal because I still am up by 3 points. 2.5 minutes left in the game. Guh with the ball, gonna take it up a little high, gonna see Patty coming through. Gets bumped a little bit to the side. Oath takes it, hits it in, sees 5UP a little bit off from the goal. Patty taking it up, but intercepted by Oath, who then gets blocked by Bullseye here. Ooh, but Wova with a nice deflect back towards Akron's goal, but just a little bit too high, so it's going to bounce back to center field. As Oath gets a shot right there, 5UP is there to defend, and he does defend. As Patty sets up a shot for Bullseye there, but blocked. And now time is running out. Akron needs to make something happen. Bullseye goes flying in through center field, again hoping for a goal. Does get a destruction onto Wova there, but Oath is there to defend. As Guh takes a shot, but is going to bounce off the wall. And it's just recuperated back to Akron.
Yeah, Ball State, this is kind of something that we like to call in Rocket League called insurance goals, as they get one more to their name. 5-1 for Ball State. Anyway, as I was saying. There's this thing in Rocket League we like to call insurance goals. So I was going to say that Ball State has 3 of them. Well, now they have 4. So actually, no, they do have 3. Oops. So basically, Akron needs to score 4 goals to tie the game. So Ball State has about 3 insurance goals until the game is tied. And that is kind of, you don't really expect to have a lot of insurance goals in a game like this, but Ball State has been absolutely on fire offensively. Akron has been really struggling on their defense. I mean, they're just kind of overcommitting like crazy. They're leaving them open. That is a nice clear, though. And Bullseye is going to score. However, he's going to need a lot more of those if he wants to even have a chance of winning this game, too.
That is a nice kind of quick goal for Akron there, but unfortunately with the time remaining in this game, they're going to need a lot more of them to try and take a even further lead up on Ball State. 5-Up does get a nice shot off there, but just a little bit to the side, and is able to defend. But yeah, Ball State just needs to make sure they can keep this defense going for 1 more minute. But they are unable to with a couple of demolitions, and I believe that was Oath trying to get the save there, or no, that was Guh. Tries to get the save, just bounces it off barely, but still goes in.
Yeah, I am not surprised to see these Akron goals. I knew that they were going to, be fighting to win this game too. That could almost be a kickoff goal. Oath there with the save, and kind of, if I'm Ball State right now, I just want to be playing a little bit more carefully. I do know they like to up the score. They like to run up the score. But in this type of situation, I just don't know if that's going to be the viable option. I would prefer to play it safe and just see if you can sort of stop something like this from happening.
Yeah, Ball State did get a nice few points without a minute even passing in the game. And Akron is saying, hey, there could be a minute left, and we're going to get all those points right back. Almost tying it up, taking away all of those safety goals that you were talking about earlier. And now just Ball State has 30 seconds to make sure Akron doesn't get another point in, and they almost do right off the bat. 20 seconds remaining. The ball does fly towards Akron's side of the field. Wola does get demolished, so that's going to be tough for Ball State, but Guh able to send the ball flying back just a tiny bit. Patty goes up. We're going to try and keep that ball in the air, but Oath able to keep the ball onto Akron's side. And there we go. Ball State taking game 2, but almost having it slip out of their fingers.
Did look a little scary there for a second for Ball State. Yeah, they had a 5-1 lead. Next thing you know, the score is 5-4. But yes, Ball State does take game 2 in the end. So now they go into game 3 on equal footing here. And I always say that, whoever wins game 3 when it's tied 1-1, it really gives them a lot of momentum, because then it's like immediately match point. And like that is something with these best of 5s that is so different from if it was a best of 7 situation where, yeah, we're tied 1-1. Well, whoever wins the next game immediately only needs to win 1 more. And that's kind of scary if you're the team that's down 1. You got to play some crazy defense.
And especially we did see not too crazy of defense in that game too, but plenty of crazy offense, which they do say offense is the best defense.
Yes.
From both Akron and Ball State there. I mean, both, I believe, you saw the game happen. You saw how amazing those offenses really were, but 5 points from Ball State, almost all of them back-to-back. Just an amazing thing to see. And then Akron just being able to almost take back or tie the game with a few minutes remaining, just unable to. Wova already demolished at the start of game 3, though, as Akron takes a shot onto Ball State's goal, but is just barely going to miss.
Yeah, it just kind of shows that you can never really count a team like Akron out. Even if you're up 5-1 with less than a minute left, I mean, they scored 3 goals extremely quickly, so you can never really count out this Akron team. And Ball State knows that, and you could tell, at the end that they they did not give up. You know, they noticed that, oh, okay, yeah, they are really, you know, turning things up offensively. And right there, they could almost score, but Oath is going to be there with a save. And already it has been longer than I think it was for Ball State's first goal last game, and it is on their side.
Yes, I do. I believe that Ball State had at least 2 goals by this point last game. But right now we're seeing that just offensive attack and assault from Akron right now. Just they're taking shot after shot, but Ball State is just doing great at defending this. Akron just seems to be swarming. They have these positions that they're getting the ball in. That makes it seem like there's no way Ball State's going to be able to defend. But Ball State has been hanging in there as Oath takes the ball in the air, going to go for a goal, but is going to get defended. But ball still on Akron's side. Wova hits it a bit towards the goal, but going to get defended as well. But gets it demolished onto Patty there. But the ball gets sent back towards Ball State's side as Oath gets demolished. Gud just tries to send it back towards Akron's side.
It could have been a very costly demo there for Ball State. Now it is back on Ball State's side here. Gah gonna just try to disrupt 5-Up's momentum there as he tries to send the ball in. Patty gonna be there in the midfield. Teaming on Ball State's side. Now Gah gonna take it into the air. Bullseye gonna contest. Gets a nice clear. Well, we're gonna have to be there to take the ball away. 3 minutes now left on the clock. Still no goal in the game. Gah's gonna have it in the air. Gonna maybe try and get something done. Oath gets a nice redirect. Maybe gonna send it down to Gah. But Gah's just gonna have to send it over to Wova, who can maybe try to just get a nice shot, but a great clear from Bullseye. Now to Patty. Gets a nice shot on the Ball State's goal. Gah is gonna be there with a save.
Again, just we're seeing very similar things that we saw to the first game here. But as Patty takes a shot onto Ball State's goal, but is going to be defended. But still, this amazing offense from Akron here is keeping the ball pretty much on Ball State's side as Oath tries to get a shot, passes it to Wova. Wova tries to go for a shot, unable to get either. But Oath keeping the ball on Akron's side. Gonna pass it to Wova, who just hits it a little bit too high. And then Gud going to try and get a goal in from the air, but all of Akron is here. They're going to be able to defend, but Wova is right there to defend from center field. But Gud gonna have to drop back as the ball again is sent over to Ball State's side.
Yep, now on Ball State's side, Bullseye looking for a goal, looking to maybe set it up for Patty now, but a nice clear from Ball State is going to send it back over to Akron's side. Gud going to be there to follow it up, get control of the ball. 5-Up and Bullseye there, going to be there to challenge. Oath waiting in the midfield, gets control of the ball again, but 5-Up is going to be waiting with boost. Ball State's net is wide open, but Wova is going to get there to disrupt Akron's momentum. Still 0-0 in this game as we approach 1 minute remaining. A nice clear going to send it over to Akron's side. 5-Up is going to be demoed by Oath there. Now Gah is going to have it in the air. Going to maybe see if he can finally get Ball State to the board. He's going to set it up for Oath, and that one's going to go in. Ball State takes a late game lead.
Finally, not only a goal in this match, 4 minutes into it, but you know, just a nice setup there from Gah. You know, goes and brings the ball up high like he's been doing all game. Got 2 defenders on him, but then just a nice little pass to I forget who made the shot there, but
I think it was Oath. I don't know.
Oath. But
professional commentators.
Even though it's only 3 players, sometimes it is easy to confuse them.
Yes.
Especially with a game as quick as Rocket League. But we're already on to the next round. Wova gets demolished, but the ball is flying towards Akron's goal. But 5-Up gonna be sending it right back to Ball State, but not if Gah can do anything about it. 30 seconds left on the clock. Bullseye trying to make something happen here, but Oath defending it again. Going in for another shot, but going to be defended by Patty, who is now just trying to make something happen, but Wova is there to meet him. Bullseye takes it to an almost open goal. Less than 10 seconds on the clock, and Gah sends it back flying towards Akron's goal. Wova in the air to meet it, and Gah sends it spiking down, ending the game 1-0. And Ball State takes the lead with 2-1.
So now we are looking at a match point situation. Ball State with a lot of momentum, but if there's anything I know about this Akron team is they are not going to let Ball State win this one easily, but we can look at some of the stats here. All around defense from Ball State, all players with at least 2 saves, Oath with the 1 goal, and it was Guh who set it up for him. And yeah, Akron just not really able to get anything done offensively in that game. They were just, and which is weird, because you saw at the start of the game, we're just putting on so much pressure, but Ball State had great defense, and then they just couldn't really get anything done with it.
Yeah, it very much seemed like Akron had this really good offensive plan that they were implementing in the early stages of that game that seemed to very similar to, you know, what they were doing in games 1 and game 2, but it just wasn't working. Ball State was just defending it really, really well. And when you're defending it really, really well, you know, sure, the other team could have one goal on you, but that 1 goal is what wins them the game. And I think as the time just started to run out, they got more and more desperate for that 1 goal to tie it up, which made their offense a little bit more sloppy and just was easier to defend for Ball State.
All right, now here we go at what could be the final game of this best of 5. If it is, I should have had more confidence in my Cardinals. They are looking at a 3-1 win here if can just do what they did in these last 2 games here. So let's see how this one can go for them. Guh gets a shot early on, but it is going to be saved by Patty. Ball State's net looking a little open right now. What we're going to try and get there. Guh going to have to now do some defense. Maybe going to send it over to Oath. And now Akron gets a nice clear. Woe's going to have to get there to get it away from Ball State's net. Bullseye going to try to keep up this offensive pressure. Going to send it up to Patty. Going to see if he can get Akron on the board, but Oath's going to get it away from Ball State's net as fast as he can. Bullseye going to try and keep it on Ball State's side, but Woe going to power it away. 5 up going to try to challenge him for it. Going to try to dance it into the net, but he just doesn't have the boost, doesn't have the angle, and Ball State on the defense works out for him this time.
And Patty gets a nice setup there for a shot, but Guh gonna be flying there, saved the day, bringing the ball all the way to Akron's side of the field. But that shot going to be saved by 5 up. Now Wova and Bullseye battling head-to-head for this ball, but Wova gonna get that ball flying towards Akron's side, just a little too much in that corner, but Wova gets demolished. So now Akron going on the attack, sending the ball straight over to Ball State's side, but just there able to defend so gracefully, allowing the ball just to be able to send straight back to Akron's side. And still just playing in that center field, still doing the same gameplay that we've been seeing from the past few games, just of amazing offenses, but still amazing defenses as well, as it's still 0-0 with 3 minutes left on the clock.
Yeah, me and Turner kind of like to call this ping pong. It's just sort of back and forth, back and forth. No one really keeping control of the ball, no one really scoring, just both teams playing good offense and good defense. And that is the kind of the term that we've given it, where just nothing's really happening. Like, so much is happening, but nothing is happening at the same time. As Akron going to try and send it into the midfield, but Ball State is going to challenge. Patty going to maybe try and follow up on this Akron momentum, but 5 up gets a demo onto Wova as well. Ooh. Ball State responds with a demo of their own. Guh going to see what he can do. Patty's going to go there and challenge him. Not going to let him walk that ball in there easily. Wova going to maybe try and set something up for one of his teammates, but all the Akron cars are going to be there to stop it. Guh going to get a nice shot, but it's just not the angle that he needed, and Bullseye was there. Guh going to send it up again. He's going to demo Bullseye.
Bullseye being demo might be huge for Ball State here. Wova gets a shot off, but just a little bit to the side, and it's going to be too late for Ball State there as Akron takes the ball all the way to the other side of the field. And some nice defenses there from Guh. Wova tries to send it right back over, but Bullseye makes a nice save there. Pass to 5 up, but going to be saved by Oath. And now Akron going to have to be on the defensive side, but Bullseye sends it up straight to Guh, but Guh going to be blocked by 5 up again in the air.
Now back. Apologies.
And I'm just going to say, Patty sets it up there for 5 up, taking the ball all the way to the other side, and just a nice little tap right there. 5 up in the middle there. Oath tries to save it, but a little too fast, it looks like. Just goes straight past it. And now a minute and a half remaining. Ball State in the opposite position that they were last game. Just needs to make 1 goal to tie it up.
Yeah, but there's just been so little goals. This one goal is going to be very difficult for them to make. So let's see if they can do it. They are doing a good job. They're getting on to Akron's side early here. Bullseye going to take it away, though, and going to get the boost, and going to take out Gut in the process. Now on Ball State's side again, Akron wanting to extend their lead, going to try and get themselves a bit of a comfy win and force game 5 here. 1 minute left on the clock now. It is on Ball State's side.
Yeah, this is going to be tough for Ball State because Akron, if they can go back into that amazing offensive performance that we've been seeing, then Ball State will just have to defend and defend and defend for this last minute. But Ball State able to get on this attack here. A pretty much open goal there, except to be saved by 5UP, who sends it flying back towards Ball State's goal. Almost gets a goal, but going to be saved by Guh, who takes it up top. Maybe a pass up, maybe a goal. We're going to see drives it, gets saved by Bullseye. 30 seconds on the clock. Ball State needs to make something happen, but Woba gets demolished. Patty sets it up for 5UP, and he gets the second goal for Akron there. And I think that's going to be game 4 for Ball State unless they can make 2 goals in 23 seconds.
Yeah, this one is looking likely to go to Akron here and force that game 5 to decide who sees St. Clair in the finals, unless Ball State can get 2 very, very quick goals. But the goals have just been so unfrequent already that they're going to need to get something done really fast here, as already 15 seconds left now.
They're still fighting. 10 seconds on the clock. Guh just trying to make something happen here, but 5UP going to be sending it straight back to Ball State's goal, but Woba puts it in the air so the timer doesn't run out. Bullseye, though, going to make sure that that ball lands on the ground, and now it is 2-2. Going to game 5, just as we said.
Who's surprised? Yep.
And yes, it could go either way. One game to determine it all. Again, nice look at the stats here.
5UP with both goals for Akron, both set up by Patty. And yeah, Ball State just kind of struggling offensively that game. I mean, they had the shots on goal, but just couldn't get any of them to connect. So now we are looking at game 5. Winner takes it all, I guess. Winner goes to the finals. So
that is true. You know, I think if I'm Ball State here, you know, I think Ball State seems to be doing really good, but they're either their defense is really on point, but then their offense really isn't, or it seems like their offense is really on point, and then their defense isn't. Either way, I think, you know, they know exactly what they're going to need to do. I don't think anything I can say can really describe, you know, what they're going through and what they're feeling. Just they need to focus in.
Yeah, I always say that we make it sound so easy. Like, guys, just find something. Just score.
Yeah, just,
like,
just hit the ball and score,
yeah,
man.
But it is simply just not that easy. So now on Ball State's side early, not what Ball State wants to see. This is match point, of course, for the semifinals. Winner books their ticket to see St. Clair. Oath going to be there on some defense.
Patty there to take the ball back in Akron's favor. Quickly trying to get a quick goal there. But again, we're seeing that Ball State defense just be on point as Oath there and Woba both block 2 amazing shots from Akron there. But Akron still has the ball on Ball State's side, so Ball State's going to have to make something happen here to get the ball out of the center field and out of Akron's hands.
Yep, now on to Akron's side. See what Woba can do. Patty is going to take it back over to Ball State's side now, using all his boost in the process. Oath, risky there, taking it in front of Ball State's net. Now Woba going to follow it up onto Akron's side now. Woba going to try to keep control of the ball. Patty is going to challenge him, and 5UP's going to be there to help out his teammate. Going to bring it over to Ball State's side now. Isn't really able to get that shot on goal that he was looking for. Now Ball State looking to regain control of that ball. Wolf is going to send it over into the midfield. 5UP is going to be there and waiting. Patty's going to follow it up, but Oath is there on some defense. Bullseye's going to meet it in the midfield. They're going to try to get that nice clear onto Ball State's side, looking to see if he can score, set it up for Patty, but again, nothing really coming of it for either team.
But Akron's goal is almost open. 5UP going to be there to defend. I thought one of Ball State's players there could have made something happen. Just unfortunately was not able to get there in time. Sends the ball back to Akron's side, but Oath staying here on defense as Gut tries to get a shot going there, but going to be saved by a Patty, and 5UP going to be taking this shot onto Ball State's goal. Oath, or God, there to save it, as Oath going to be taking it in for a shot maybe, but Akron is able to recoup and takes the ball in their own hands. Getting another shot onto Ball State's goal, but unable to make it. Bounces it towards Akron's side. Going to be, Oath just is able to dance it a little bit around 5UP there. Keeping it on Akron's side, but 5UP still able to get it back to Ball State, as Oath with an amazing save right there. Passes it to Wova on the wall. Wova takes a nice shot there, but blocked. And again, just ping-ponging back and forth.
Yeah, nothing really going on as of now on Akron's side, but 5UP is going to take it in the air. Going to bring it over to Ball State side into the corner. Going to maybe see if he can get Akron on the board. Bullseye going to follow it up. There's no Ball State cars there. And Akron is going to get the lead late in game 5.
Was right there, but just 5UP kind of was able to push him out of the way right before Akron was able to make that goal, so he was not able to save it. And now Ball State in a very scary position here, with being demoed right now, and they're down 1 point with 2 minutes on the clock. They're going to need to make something happen as Pat takes a shot, but is going to be blocked.
Yeah, Ball State in a must-score situation. They absolutely need it to stay alive and try to go to the finals, but, you know, Akron's just not going to let them have it that easily. Still keeping up this offense. They want a comfy win. They want to try to increase their lead. Patty keeping it on Ball State's side. Oath's going to try and maybe send it over to Gub, but 5UP is going to be there. Going to see if he can extend Akron's lead, but Wova's going to take it away. He runs out of boost. Patty's going to keep it on Ball State's side. Going to go for the score. Gub going to have to get it away from Ball State's net. Manages to do so. Bullseye's going to be there on the challenge. Going to be followed up by 5UP, still on Ball State's side. Going to see what maybe Patty can do with it now.
Patty missing the ball there. It's a little too short. Going to allow Ball State to take it to Akron's side, but not able to get a shot onto goal there. Patty does get demolished there, but ball's on Ball State's side. They're just going to have to try and regroup and get a nice shot going. But Patty there on the defense, and a kind of shot in itself, but it is going to be defended. As there, with less than a minute remaining, Ball State needs to make something happen right now with the ball still on their side.
Yeah, Ball State desperately in a situation where they need to score here to try and stay alive, try to get into the finals, but Akron's gonna score with 37 seconds left on the clock. And that could be game 5 and the semifinals decided.
Yeah, it seems like we're seeing pretty similar game 5 to game 4, where almost nothing the entire game, but Akron just gets 2 goals right near the end. And Ball State still has 30 seconds on the clock, still has time to make something happen. They were able to get 2 or 3 goals in less than a minute before. They can do it again, but it's going to be tough with 20 seconds on the clock. Bullseye almost getting a goal onto Ball State, but got demolished. 17 seconds in, Bullseye just is able to defend just barely. Sends the ball flying upwards. Go there to block it, but sends the ball to center field as Wova is there to meet it. 5 seconds on the clock. Are they going to be able to make it as Akron sends the ball near Ball State's side and it hits the ground? Unfortunately, resulting in a loss for Ball State.
That is going to be the semifinals decided. It will be Akron who faces St. Clair on Saturday. I will say I have St. Clair to win it all there. But now looking at some replays, GG's to Akron. I say both teams played very well. My score prediction was correct, but it wasn't for the right team, unfortunately. But we'll see Akron again, hopefully in the ESC finals, and hopefully there we see the opposite outcome. And Ball State takes the dub, takes our ESC finals trophy. So Akron doesn't like 5-peat, and we get it in Rocket League this time. But I don't think we're gonna do an interview, but no interview. That is going to be the stream. GG's to Akron, unfortunately.
GG's.
Oh, we are gonna show production.
Oh,
We do have that cam. Yep,
there
there's
we
our
go.
production.
Our wonderful production team.
Yep. Let me see. Trinity Austin is she has a
Well,
nickname.
you don't care about
Izzy.
them. You only care about us.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, production. Good job, production. Great stream. 24-hour stream. If you watch that was a good time. That we raised like $1,600 for Gamers Outreach. Great stuff. Talked about it in the last stream. We're gonna do one next year, of course. Always a good time. But that is going to be the stream for the night. A little bit of a quicker one. So thank you so much for tuning in. Ivan Wyatt, aka Lee Baby.
And Ivan Zane, aka Pokey Penguin.
I believe this is going to be the last stream for the semester. So
wow.
I don't think there's going to be another one. Yep, this is the last stream for the semester. So thank you guys so much for tuning in with us all year. We'll see you in the spring. That'll be Valorant and League of Legends season. It's going to be a great time. So don't go anywhere. Of course, Ball State Esports is going to be with you in a semester from now. But thank you all for tuning in. It's been a great season for both games. It's been an honor to be on these live streams. Thank you guys so much. We'll see you in 2026.
See you next time.